name's Liz, I'm the baker that sews. Welcome to my channel if you're new and welcome back if you are a subscriber. As always, it's really lovely to have you here as I share my sewing journey. So I love talking about all things sewing related. Sometimes that's sharing things that I've made, sometimes that's sharing fabrics or patterns, plans that I've got. I do a weekly Sunday sewing catch up where I share things that I've made that week and fabrics that I've been buying. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then please do make sure that you've hit the subscribe button because you'll get notified when I bring out my next video. So today's video is a Make 9 update. So I shared my Make 9 plans back in January and I decided this year to tackle my Make 9 using a different method. So the last couple of years I've used patterns, which seems to be sort of the traditional way of setting out sort of your Make 9 plans over on Instagram. I have found in the last couple of years when I've done that, I've always been left with projects at the end of the year that I still haven't got round to sewing. I find that my taste changes throughout the year, so I find planning 9 makes at the beginning of the year quite difficult to stick to because quite often new patterns get released, or in January I'll think that I want to make one thing and then it gets to August and I think actually I'm not really interested in that anymore, so I'm not going to make it. So this year I decided to use fabrics that I've got in my stash. I've got quite a healthy fabric stash in these drawers behind me, and then I've got drawers next to my sewing desk as well which are full of fabrics, and then I've got a couple of other boxes of fabrics in my house as well. So I thought it'd be a really good way and quite motivating to get through some of my stash by using my stash fabrics as motivation and sort of plans for my Make 9. So that's what I've done. So I thought I'd do a little update because we are in April at the moment and I have sewn up quite a few of my fabrics. So I thought I'd share where I'm up to in terms of my Make 9. Last year I only made 4 things, so this year I've already made more progress using my fabric stash as motivation. So before I dive into that, I have got my notebook in front of me. I'll let you know what I'm wearing. So this is a Tilly in the Buttons pearl cardigan that I've hacked to have no sleeves. So I've added a ruffle onto that drop shoulder detail on both sides. It's a wrap cardigan and you've got a tie at the side. And then I've added a skirt onto the end of it to make it into a maxi dress. So I'll stand up so you can see what it looks like, but I'll put pictures in as usual of what I'm wearing. So you've got the wrap cardigan here and it ties, and then if I stand up you'll be able to see I've just got a gathered skirt on the front. So there's 2 front skirt pieces, a tier at the bottom, and then there's a skirt at the back, and it's all gathered in and then just fastened at the side. And I wanted to see if I could omit the sleeves to make it more summer friendly, and I've been able to do that by just adding a ruffle that goes all the way down the side seam and all the way around the back. So I'm really pleased with that. Any patterns and fabric I talk about, where possible, I will link them in the description below. I haven't got many of the patterns in front of me, but I will make sure that I put line drawings in and pictures of the pattern so you can see what pattern I'm referring to. So I started my Make 9 with, I think I had 10 fabrics in total, and a couple of those were patterns, fabrics that I knew were going to go together. So I've just got a list of them in front of me. I'll put a picture in now of my original 10 fabrics, and there's quite a few of them that I have got round to turning into garments. So I'm just going to go through my list and talk through what I'd originally thought about doing and what I ended up doing with those fabrics, and where possible I'll put pictures in of me wearing the finished garments as well. So the first one was a tiger print rayon fabric, and I can't remember where I got this from, but as soon as I saw this fabric I absolutely loved it. I bought a yellow colourway for my daughter and I turned it into a jumpsuit for her, a Nikkatee pattern Brooklyn jumpsuit, which I'll put a picture in now. And then I had a pink version of that fabric, so I'll just grab it. So it was this absolutely gorgeous tiger print fabric, and I fell in love with it because this tiger reminds me of the children's story, The Tiger Who Came to Tea, and my class is called Tiger Class, so tigers are quite a sort of special animal to me. My youngest daughter absolutely loves tigers too, so we love tigers in our house. And I knew that I wanted to turn it into some kind of top. I think I might have said when I shared it that I might have used the Friday Pattern Company sagebrush top. That's exactly what I did with the fabric, and I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. So here is my finished top. I love the Friday Pattern Company sagebrush top. I think it's going to go with lots of my pinafores and skirts, and I've got some high-waisted trousers that I know it's going to go with as well. So it's got elasticated cuff on the end, these gorgeous poofy sleeves which I knew would work really well with this rayon fabric. And then you've got that gorgeous ruffle at the front. And then underneath the ruffle, you've got some gathers, which makes it really lovely and drapey when you've got it on. And then you've also got a front yoke, which is here, and then you've got a back yoke, and then you finish the neckline with bias binding. So I use the same fabric for my bias binding, and then it fastens at the back into a little bow. So that was the first, well, it's not the first, I didn't really have them in order, but this is one of the projects, actually one of the first projects that I got sewn up. So I'm really pleased. I have actually turned this into a top, and I've worn it quite a few times already as well, which is great, and I can see it being perfect for the spring weather. So that was the first fabric and the first make. And then I have got a couple of fabrics that I haven't turned into garments yet, but I'm going to leave those till the end. So the next one was a white dotty gauze fabric, and it's this beautiful, really lightweight gauze fabric, and it's got all these beautiful embroidered dots all over it that are different metallic colours. So you've got like golds, silvers, and a bronze colour. And I don't think I had plans for this one either. I think I wanted to turn it into some kind of top because it's such a beautiful lightweight fabric. I don't think any of these things have been ironed because I've literally pulled them out of my wardrobe. So I will put pictures in of me wearing them where the garments aren't creased, but showing them to you today, they are a little bit creased. So I ended up using the Anna Allen Anthea blouse pattern, which is a little bit similar to the sagebrush in the sense of the big voluminous sleeve. The sleeve is slightly longer, it sort of finishes at your elbow. And you also finish the neckline with bias binding. But the difference between the sagebrush and the Anthea blouse is the Anthea blouse has got button placket down the front. It's got slightly curved hem as well, which you can see just there. And I'm really pleased. I think this fabric works perfectly for the Anthea blouse. The sleeve just holds really beautifully, and it's really lovely and lightweight as well. I've worn this quite a few times. I've worn it to work, but I've also worn it when I've been out and about. And it goes really nicely with lots of things that I've got in my wardrobe. I ended up using some gold buttons, which I think work really beautifully with the fabric. And these buttons were from Felicity Fabrics. If they've got any in stock, I'll link them down below because they're absolutely beautiful. I'm really pleased again that I've got a gorgeous fabric which I fell in love with from New Craft House, and I think the reason I hadn't sewn this one up until that point was because it's a dead stock fabric, and I wasn't sure, well, I definitely wouldn't have been able to get any more because a lot of the fabrics from New Craft House they can't get again because they're dead stock. So I'm pleased again that that's been turned into a top. So 2 tops so far. And then the next fabric was a viscose fabric that I actually got from the rag shop, and I couldn't remember where I'd got it from when I was talking about it in my Make 9 video. But it was a viscose, a navy background, and it had naked ladies on top of cheetahs. And I wasn't quite sure what to turn it into because I really loved the cheeky element of that print that you don't see until you get a little bit closer and you actually realise that the ladies are naked on the back of the animals. I knew it was a fabric that I wouldn't be able to wear to work for obvious reasons, and I just hadn't really got round to working out what pattern would go really well with it. I ended up going for the same pattern that I used for the gauze fabric, and I used the Anthea blouse because you can sew it up as a dress, and I've worn it so many times when I've gone out to dinner with friends. So again, I'll just grab it. So it's still on the hanger, but yeah, I went for the Anthea blouse but as the dress. And I just think it works so beautifully. It's really lovely and drapey fabric, and in the dress it drapes absolutely beautifully, especially down the front. So it's got that button placket that goes from the top all the way down. It's got the same absolutely beautiful curves as the blouse has, and then it's got that beautiful poofy sleeve as well, which just drapes so beautifully in this fabric. I said it's a viscose, I think it actually might be a rayon, and it's got a really lovely sort of soft feel to it, a little bit like a cotton lawn. But yeah, I've worn this quite a few times. I wore it to dinner with friends, and my friend asked if I would make her a version. I couldn't get hold of any more of this fabric, but she really loved the shape of the dress. And then when you turn the Anthea blouse into a dress, you also get the option to create a belt, which just sort of brings it in ever so slightly. So that's what I've done. This has got a belt to just sort of bring it in at your waist. And I'm really pleased. I think this fabric works beautifully for the dress. Because it's got that gorgeous movement to it, you can see. And then what I decided to do for the buttons is I just went for some orange buttons. to bring out some of that orange, the orange flowers that you've got on the print. But it's such a fun fabric. If I bring it a little bit closer, I just think it's really fun detail with the ladies on the back of the cheetahs, and then you've got like feathers and flowers, and dark blue, navy blue is a colour that really suits me as well. And I just think it was the perfect pattern really for this fabric. So I'm glad that I waited, because I only just bought the Anthea blouse / dress pattern. I think I might have bought it at the start of the year, and I've sewn up so many versions of the dress but also of the blouse. So perfect fabric pattern pairing. So the next fabric that I wanted to share with you is probably one of my favourite makes out of all of these, apart from actually my bomber jacket, which I'll share with you in a second. But I had this, now I can't remember the composition of this fabric. Did I write it down? No, I've just put green and pink bright fabric. I feel like it's a viscose twill, possibly. I'll have to look back and see if I can work out what type of fabric it is, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's super duper bright, and it's got green running through it. Green's my favourite colour, and I love how bright this pattern is on this fabric. I just think it's really, really fun. And I ummed and ahed in my Make 9 video about whether it should be turned into a dress, or whether I should turn it into a blazer with some trousers, or a blazer with a skirt, and I really wasn't sure what to do. And then I was going through my patterns, and I came across, or was reminded of one of my favourite patterns, which I've actually got here, the Nina Lee Bakerloo blouse and dress, and that is the pattern that I ended up going for this fabric. So I turned it into the Nina Lee Bakerloo dress, and I'm absolutely thrilled with it. I've worn it so many times to work on a day that I'm not in class teaching, and I've had so many compliments from people about just really loving the fabric, and also just the fabric going really well with that pattern as well. I love the Bakerloo dress. I love that gorgeous collar, and I really love the sleeves as well. The sleeves are quite voluminous, and my favourite part of the pattern is the way that the sleeves are finished with that gorgeous cuff with that elastic casing as well. I just think it's beautiful. So I'll hold it up so you can see. You've got that gorgeous collar at the front with the ruffle, and it goes all the way around the back with the ruffle. You've got a really lovely keyhole opening, and I went for this giant turquoise button that I've had in my stash for ages. And then the bodice for the dress is slightly cropped. For the blouse, it's slightly longer, you'll be able to see, but the dress, you cut it much shorter, and then that allows for that gorgeous gathered skirt. So the blouse, or the bodice should I say, has got bust darts, if I can find them. So it's got bust darts. I don't know if you can see those very well. Where is it? So yeah, here it's got bust darts, and then you've got a gorgeous gathered skirt, and then you've got the option to add pockets. I didn't have enough of this fabric to include pockets, so I didn't put pockets on this dress, but actually it's quite a weighty fabric, so I'm glad that I decided not to put pockets in this dress, because I think it would have been even weightier. Not that I would have put loads and loads of things in my pockets, or the pockets would have weighed much, but I'm really pleased with how it's finished. And I'm really pleased that I used this fabric for this pattern, because again, I think it works really well for the Bakerloo dress. And the Bakerloo dress, in terms of fabrics, they recommend light to medium weight fabrics, and I would say that is a medium weight fabric. And they do recommend lawn, poplin, chambray, needlecord, taffeta, or any fabric with enough body to create the collar but not too much body to gather into that frill. And I must say, when I was sewing this up, I was a little bit hesitant about whether I would be able to get a gorgeous finish on the collar with that ruffle, but actually I think I've managed to achieve that. It doesn't look too bulky, and it wasn't too bulky when I was stitching it into the collar either. So another one that I'm really pleased with, and I've actually worn absolutely loads, which is great. For the other patterns I've talked about, in terms of fabric suggestions, it's meant for woven, and they suggest light to medium weight fabrics, like a gauze, a viscose, a rayon, a double gauze, cotton lawn, or a cotton poplin. So then on to, I think this is probably my absolute favourite thing that I've made. My hair's really static, so apologies if I keep having to do that. It keeps sticking to my face for some reason. But yeah, my next make is absolutely 100% my most favourite make that I've made out of my Make 9 fabrics so far. And if you've watched my videos recently, you'll probably be able to guess what that is. So I shared this amazing rainbow quilted fabric. I have to put this on because I just love it so much. From Fabric Godmother, and this was one of my Make 9 fabrics because I bought it last year but was too scared to cut into it. I knew exactly what I wanted to turn it into. I wanted to turn it into a bomber jacket, which is exactly what I've done, with this gorgeous exposed mint zip. And then I was umming and ahhing about what cuffing to go for, and I ended up going for this teal ribbing for the collar, as well as the cuffs and the hemband. I've got lovely deep pockets on the bomber jacket as well. And I think because I had such a really clear idea in my head of what I wanted it to look like, I think that kind of held me back, I guess, from making a start on the bomber jacket. But I'd always said to myself, Easter holidays, that is what I'm going to tackle. I'd done loads of research about what pattern to use. I'd done lots of sketches, not that my drawing's brilliant, but I'd done lots of sketches to get my ideas down. I'd decided on the cuffing, I'd decided on the zip. I just needed to have a go at sewing it up. I'm going to have to take it off because it's so warm. And that's what I did. We were going away at the beginning of the Easter holidays, and that was kind of the motivation that I needed to get my jacket sewn up. So here it is. I'll put pictures in of me wearing it, but I absolutely love it. I've worn it loads and loads already. And I just think it's really, really fun. So the pattern I ended up going for was a pattern that I had in my stash that I just completely overlooked. I've got some sewing books up here, and I always forget to get them out and have a look at them when I'm thinking about pattern inspiration for fabrics. So it's the bomber jacket pattern from the Sewing Bee Sustainable Style book. You can make sort of a longer length bomber jacket, or you can do a cropped bomber jacket. I went between the two lengths of the pattern in here. I will show you just because I don't think I'll be able to get the line drawings online. So this is the pattern, the bomber jacket. It's a unisex pattern, and it was exactly what I'd imagined in my head. So it had all the details that I wanted with that ribbing detail for the collar, the cuffs and the hemband, big deep pockets, and it was exactly the sort of boxy oversized shape that I was looking for. So I went between the two sizes because in here they also show you how to crop the bomber jacket. So there's two different lengths that you can do, and I had a mint green zip that was 22 inches that I was really adamant that I was going to use for the jacket. And I'd bought a 22-inch exposed zip because I was originally going to sew up the Pattern Scout cozy jacket, but actually I changed my mind because I preferred the shape of the neckline on this jacket. So I just adjusted the pattern pieces to make sure that the zip was able to fit in the pattern pieces, because on this jacket, I'll have to go back to the line drawings to show you, it's easier to show you here. You've got a zip facing at the bottom. So I just measured the zip from the zip facing all the way up to the top and just worked out how much of the front and the back jacket pieces I would need to shorten it by, and it was just a couple of inches because I think the original pattern suggests a 24-inch zip. So I think I just took 2 inches off the front and 2 inches off the back, and then it's fit beautifully. So I'm really pleased with that make. I think I'd put quite a lot of pressure on myself having this idea in my head, this really clear idea. I don't even know where the clear idea came from. I think just when I saw that amazing quilted fabric from Fabric Godmother, I just started imagining this very clear bomber jacket. But I'm really pleased that I've now turned it into a wearable garment, and I'm definitely going to get lots of wear out of it over the spring. And then I've got 2 more to share that I've got round to sewing, and then I've got some fabrics that I haven't got round to sewing into something, and I'd love your thoughts. I know lots of people commented on my last video back in January, but I'm still umming and ahhing about what to do with these fabrics, so please do let me know. But the next completely finished garment that I wanted to share with you was 2 fabrics that I knew were going to go together. And it was a waterproof coating fabric that I got from Fabric Godmother with a white cotton lawn fabric that I got from Sew Me Sunshine. And I wanted to put them together to make a raincoat. I'd originally thought I was going to turn them into a raincoat for myself. But actually, when I was sort of working out what pattern to go for, I decided I'd made quite a lot of coats for myself, especially with the bomber jacket. So I turned it into a coat for my youngest daughter, Lola, and she absolutely loves it. She's worn it so many times already. So here is the amazing fabric. So it's a coating fabric. Fabric Godmother don't have this in stock anymore, but they have got loads of amazing coating fabrics on their website. And then I've just got a white cotton lawn on the inside. I knew that I needed to line it in order for those amazing rainbow sort of rain cloudy type things were sort of showcased with the finished coat. And I just wanted to go for a white cotton lawn, so it was nice and soft on my daughter's skin, but you would really be able to see those amazing, I think they're rainbows with little raindrops. I think they're rainbows with raindrops coming off them, but I really wanted to make sure that that amazing print really shone through with the finished garment. And then we've got a few little details where you have just got the fabric, the coat fabric, with no lining, because this is the facing for the hood, and then this is the this is the facing for the front of the coat, and then you've got that zip. So for that reason, I just went for a plain white zip for her coat, but then I did go for mint coloured snaps, so they're just prim snaps. So I just zip it up so you can see what it looks like. But that's what the front of the coat looks like. I thought a white zip would be perfect because it wouldn't detract from that really fun print, and then I just went for these mint snaps that have got hearts on. I just thought they were a really cute little detail. And then the pattern that I went for was the Tilly in the Buttons Eden coat. I really like the shape of the coat. It's a pattern that I've sewn up a few times. I've sewn it up once for myself, once as a present for my mum, and now I've sewn it up for Lola as a present as well. And she is absolutely thrilled with it, and I'm really pleased with it as well. So another 2 fabrics that I've got turned into something, and not something for me though, something for my daughter, which is exciting. And then the final pattern that I'm almost finished sewing up is some pajamas that I talked about. I had some Rifle Paper Company Primavera cotton fabric. I think they were both cotton actually, cotton poplin, from their Primavera collection. One in a mint colourway and one in a teal colourway. The teal fabric was from Sew Me Sunshine, and the mint fabric was from the Crafty Mastermind. And I fell in love with this fabric as soon as Rifle Paper Company released both of the fabrics. I absolutely loved them. I'd managed to get the teal one from Sew Me Sunshine, couldn't get hold of the mint one, which was the one that I actually fell in love with. It sold out like that. But then the Crafty Mastermind said that they were doing a pre-order, so I could order some via them. So I was pretty sure that I felt that they both needed to go together, and actually I think both fabrics work really nicely together. And then I knew that I wanted to turn them into pajamas, but I wasn't 100% sure which pattern I was going to go for. I was 95% sure I was going to go for the Nina Lee Piccadilly pajamas, and that's exactly what pattern I've ended up going for. So I've nearly finished them. So I've gone for the shirt version that's got the capped sleeve. It's got some really beautiful features that I really love, that curved hem. And then the cap sleeve is really beautiful as well. It's got that mandarin collar, and then I've put a label in that says Slowly Does It, which is one of the Pink Coat Club who don't make labels anymore. One of Joy's labels that I bought when she was selling them. And then it's got these really gorgeous little pockets on the front of it as well. So the shirt, I don't know if you can see that pocket because it's so busy. The shirt is almost finished. I just need to sew on buttonholes and buttons. And then I've used the teal coloured cotton fabric to sew up the pyjama bottoms. And they're sort of 3/4 length pyjama bottoms. So they're sewn up as far as that. I've constructed the legs. I just need to construct the waistband, sew on buttonholes to thread the ribbon through, and then I need to put elastic in the waistband at the back. But again, the pyjamas have just got some gorgeous detail. Like on the trousers there, you've got the curved hem on the bottom for both of the trousers, and I just think that's so beautiful. And then the pattern suggests that you finish all of those curves that you've got on the pyjamas using bias binding, but I had some piping in my stash, some mint green piping, and I really wanted to sew up some pyjamas that had piping on. So I wasn't sure if I was going to use the Piccadilly pyjamas or the Carolyn pyjamas, but I actually went with the Piccadilly pyjamas because it was a pattern I already had. And so instead of using bias binding, I used some piping instead. And I'm really pleased with how that's turned out on the trousers, and then also on the shirt. So that's the sleeve, which is finished with piping. The pocket is finished with piping, not as neat. You can see that it's not quite, where I've top stitched it is not quite to the edge of the piping. That was the first attempt, and then I thought my invisible zipper foot would be better and give me a much neater finish, and that's how I achieved that neat finish on the sleeve, and also on the hem as well. So I use my invisible zipper foot, and it's given a much neater finish. You can see that lovely top stitching there, right to the edge of the piping. So they're almost finished. But again, some more fabrics from my Make 9 that are turned into wearable garments. And I'm looking forward to having some spring pajamas in my pajama drawer as well. So then that means I've got a couple of pieces of fabric. I've got 3 pieces of fabric from my Make 9 plans that I haven't turned into anything yet. And I'm not sure if I've got ideas for any of them really. So I've got them, oh actually I've got ideas for one of them, but then I've got 2 that I haven't got ideas for. So I'll start with this one. This is a wool coating fabric that I got from New Craft House. The reason I've been put off cutting into this gorgeous fabric is 1, I absolutely love it and I know I can't get any more, and 2, it was quite expensive for what I normally pay for fabric, and I got 2 meters of this fabric. I absolutely love it. I think it was something like £35 a metre. I am definitely going to turn it into the Friday Pattern Company heather blazer and then the Untitled Thoughts Chandler trousers, and I want to do like a little sort of set that goes together. So I know exactly what I'm going to turn it into. I haven't sewn either of those patterns up yet. I know that I need to twirl the trousers to get the fit right. The heather blazer, I've seen so many beautiful versions on Instagram, and I know lots of people have sewn it up, and it's a really simple pattern to sew together. I've got the lining fabric to go with it as well, so I just need to pluck up the courage to actually cut into this beautiful fabric and sew up my blazer and trousers. I'm worried now that the weather's going to get too warm, so this might be something that gets pushed back to my autumn plans, maybe September, October, when I get a bit more motivated to cut this out, and I might then twirl the trousers and the blazer using a different fabric that's a little bit more lightweight, so do like a spring summer heather blazer and trousers sort of set, and then save this for the autumn winter when I know that will definitely get more wear out of it, because this feels really cozy and warm, and I think it'll be a bit too much for the warmer weather. And then the other 2 fabrics, I have no idea what to turn them into. So this one is a brushed cotton that I got, I think I got this from Sew Me Sunshine, and it's got these, it's sort of reminds me a little bit of the check print that I used for my Bakerloo dress. So it's pink and green. I think it might have been described as watermelon. I said it's brushed. Oh no, it is brushed. Going to say I said it's brushed, but I can't feel the brush side. The brush side is here, so I'm not sure what to turn it into, but I think I've got about 2.5 meters of this, and it is quite wide. Friday Pattern Companies have just released the pattern, the Sargo set, which is a top and trousers. This might make a really cute Sargo set. I'll put a picture in of what that set looks like. Or I was also thinking maybe the Peppermint Patterns wide strap maxi dress, which I've wanted to sew up since the Frugal Frocks 22 challenge, or Sew Frugal 22 challenge. So that could become the Peppermint wide strap maxi dress. But if anyone's got any suggestions, please let me know. I need to just get on with turning this into something beautiful and wearable. I feel like they are quite spring summer colours. So I feel like I need to turn it into something that I'm going to wear spring summertime. So please let me know in the comments below if you've got any ideas for that one. And then the final fabric, I keep going on about this fabric, and I keep going round and round and round in circles about what to turn this into, and I really have no idea. I want to turn it into something that I'm actually going to get wear out of. I want to turn it into something that I'm going to wear out of the house, because I'd originally thought I would turn this gorgeous astronaut print. Look at the astronauts on there. I just think it's so fun. Let me see if I can hold it up so you can see. It's such a fun print. It's got astronauts all over it. It was a dead stock fabric from New Craft House. It's gorgeous green colour. It's like a satin fabric. I just absolutely love it, but I have no idea what to turn it into. So I had originally thought I was going to turn it into a dressing gown, and then I thought maybe the saltwater slip. But I feel like that astronaut print really needs to be showcased. But then I also feel like it needs to be turned into a garment that I am definitely going to wear out of the house. It feels so lovely, and it's got such a beautiful amount of drape. I'm really stuck with what to turn this into. And again, I've got 2 meters of this fabric. A lot of my fabrics I tend to buy sort of 2 meters of. So please do let me know in the comments. I've got lots of lovely comments and wonderful suggestions when I shared this fabric in January. but I'm really stuck. I really haven't got a moment of inspiration yet with this gorgeous fabric, but every time I open my fabric drawers, I just look at it and just think, what do you need to be? I have no idea what to turn it into. So please do let me know in the comments below. So that's all of my Make 9 so far. I'm really pleased with how well I've got on with sewing up the garments, and I'm really pleased that lots of those precious fabrics I had in my stash have now been brought to life and I can wear them, and I've worn most of them lots and lots already. So I'm really excited about getting my pajamas finished and then thinking about what I can turn the other fabrics into. I'm pretty sure the coating fabric is definitely going to become an autumn winter project, but these two, I'm really keen to get them turned into something. This one definitely, I think, needs to be something for spring summer. This one could become something for the autumn winter as well. I think there'll be a moment where I go, actually that fabric is perfect, yes, that's exactly what I'm going to turn it into. I'm not quite sure what the satin would work for either. I don't know what fabrics would go with this type of fabric. It feels quite a medium weight fabric as well. So please let me know in the comments if you've got any suggestions for the fabrics that I have yet to turn into garments in my wardrobe. Let me know how you're getting on with your Make 9. I am really pleased, like I said, with how I've got on with mine, and I think moving forward I'm definitely going to continue using fabrics as my motivation for my Make 9 plans, because it's definitely motivated me this year. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed hearing how I've got on with my Make 9 plans so far. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, it'd be really great if you could hit that subscribe button. You get notified when I bring out my next video. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye!